Came home, and in 10 minutes, he fixed the internet. And my wife just sent a message and said, Mike fixed it. I'm like, how come he can't mow the lawn? But he fixes, all right, I'll take what I can get. 82% of the kids in my community say this is a problem, Officer Bean. We're having trouble dealing with it. We need help, okay? And they've been saying that for years because I gave them a survey. When I first started talking to kids, I wanted information from them. They're not going to admit, yeah, I cyberbully people all the time, Officer Bean. Come here, let me fill you in. Here's how you do it. They don't do that. But you give them a survey, you encourage participation by making it anonymous, and they will give you feedback. They want to help you, okay? Some of the stuff is personal, but if you give them the opportunity to be anonymous and you promise no repercussions, you just want the truth from them, they will help you. I gave them a 35-question, very detailed survey about cyberbullying, about internet use, about cell phone use. Who has cell phones? Are they smartphones? Are they not smartphones? How often are you on social media? How many social media sites do you go on? Do your parents know you're on them? Have you been cyberbullied? Have you been a cyberbully? If it's happened, what do you do about it? These are all the questions I asked in 2010 to 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. In 2012, I added the 5th graders, and unfortunately, in 2014, I added the 4th graders as well, because they're online that early. Kids have smartphones, about half of them in 4th grade in my community. They have smartphones, 9-year-old kids. Kids in the room right now, raise your hand if you have a smartphone. Yeah, pretty good. You got one girl in the front row, the others are just kind of looking around. Don't worry, you're not missing anything, okay? You're probably the most normal of all of us without having the smartphone handy. But yeah, it's out there for them. So I got feedback from them, I got answers from them, and I started to utilize those answers in my DARE classes. I started to utilize those answers with my parents. My favorite part of the anonymous survey is several kids did not know what the word anonymous meant, so they still put their name on it. I enjoyed that. But I got a lot of great feedback, and I got a lot of honest answers. And that's something I've been a big advocate of. Ever since I started DARE, when I got into the junior high, they said, hey, can you do a security assessment for us? Sure. So I walked around, and I can tell you to lock that door and fix that window. But at the same time, where are the problems happening? Oh, the bathroom, the lunchroom, and the bus. Okay. And then I'd go ask the kids, where are the problems happening? The hallway. When? Right in the middle of the day. Where? Right by the gym where it splits into the T. Who? Their list is long and distinguished, Officer Bean. So I said, hey, the next time we have a little security meeting for the school, can we bring a couple student representatives in, a 7th grader and an 8th grader? I don't know if we should do that. Why? Because this is about security. We don't want to scare them. In the age we live in, we don't want to scare them. Remember the tornado drill, guys? When for us old people, that was scary. You were doing a tornado drill position for like 20 minutes. Your back hurt. You were getting bored. Teachers kept shushing you, okay? These kids do armed intruder drills. These kids do people with weapons drills. These kids do lockdown drills all the time. Read the news. Soft lockdowns are happening all the time in our community. It's an unfortunate experience, but that's the world these kids grew up in. So when the principal of a junior high says, I don't want to scare them, you don't want to scare them, wow. Too late. Let's learn from them. So we brought the kids in. They told the teachers point blank. We don't get messed with in the bathroom because everybody's on camera and they know who went in and out of the bathroom, and teachers can check the passes. That's too easy. It's in between classes because no teachers are in the hallway. So after that, within a matter of 3 weeks, they had positioned teachers in various spots of the junior high hallway in between classes and said, look, if you're busy, you're busy. If you're not, find a place, shoo the kids. We got 3 minutes between periods. We're the adults, fly the colors, walk around, get them to class. The kids reported by Thanksgiving that the school felt a lot safer and that a lot of the problems were eradicated just by the adults' presence. This is from information I received from them. So I talked to the kids, and I got all the information I could, and 82% of them consistently say, yes, Officer Bean, cyberbullying, these are issues we're still having trouble with. Next slide, please. There are consequences to cyberbullying, okay? The number one thing that adults think about, obviously, the legal consequences. That costs us money. That puts our kids in trouble. We don't want the police ever talking to our kids unless it's to say hi, okay? So there are legal consequences. I've unfortunately arrested kids as young as 11 years old, 6th grade kids, for cyberbullying. If I were to go on my social media accounts, and I have several ones, just like I did the survey to get information, another way I get information is I have currently 5 fake social media accounts. Twitter, Kik, Facebook, Instagram, and there's one more. Snapchat, thank you for helping me out there. The little bubbly ghost, yes. And I used to have them on other sites. And these are the sites the kids in my community frequent, so these are the sites that I frequent, okay? Now, this is going to be a little shock to the kids and a little shock to the adults. When I first did this, there's an 8-hour training class on how to create a fake Facebook page. So I took it, and I learned how to do photo bucket, and I learned how to dump images on there, and I learned how to put things on my fake page that kids would be interested in. I can't go on there and say I like Motley Crue and Bon Jovi because, well, kids, you really should like Motley Crue and Bon Jovi. The music's great. But they're not going to like my page or come look at me, so I looked at the stuff they were doing. Taylor Swift I became a fan of. Eminem, all these artists that I became a fan of. The television shows, the movies, I liked the things they liked. I filled my page with that information. I said I believe the first page I ever created, I said I was a 14-year-old boy from another town, and my image, my little icon on Facebook was a cartoon character. And I started off slow because I didn't want kids to figure me out, right? Because kids, are you on social media a lot at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday? Hope not. You are, but I hope it's not as often. When are you on social media more often? Before school, after school, in the evenings? So I was afraid during work hours to start liking friends and sending requests at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday because they'll figure me out. I'm a cop. No, they won't. I way overestimated kids, and it's not their intelligence, it's simply their attention span, okay? I friended about 3, 4, 5 kids in maybe a 5-day period, one a day, and I made sure they weren't in the same cliques, because I'm their dare officer. I'm in the school. I know who hangs out with who. He's a jockey, he's an athlete, he's not, he's over here, she's over there, so I'm getting different groups. After 5 days and me getting about 6 friends, and I contacted some of my nieces and nephews that were that age, and they friended me to try and give my page a little credibility, my inbox started to get flooded with requests from kids. I didn't have to friend you anymore. You were friending my fake account. Kids, why do you think other kids were friending my account? Why were they sending me friend requests? Say what? Very good. Number one answer, we have friends in common. Okay, so what is your name, young lady? Amy, what is your name? Say it again. Katie and Amy. If I send a message to Katie and she goes, ooh, yes, I like Taylor Swift. This person from Aurora looks like someone I want to get to know, so I'm going to like their Facebook page. The next thing that happens is her friend Amy goes, oh, you like that Facebook page? Because I saw it, I didn't know what it was. But if you liked it, it must be completely, totally safe. All right? I started to get killed with requests, okay? And I was very proud of that Facebook page. I kept it for 3 years. And I had kids in every school in my community trying to figure out who I was because I told them the truth. I'm on there. I have a fake account. I'm monitoring you. No, you're not. Yes, I am. Yeah. We did that back and forth. And then I'd come in to show them. I'd find one of the kids in class just walk by, and she'd go, oh, good morning, Officer Bean. Hey, so you went to Wisconsin Dells. That's pretty cool. And there'd be a long pause, and she'd go, oh, God. Am I? Yeah, you're friends with me. It's okay. Don't worry about it. They would then go home, and I'd have kids come to me and go, listen, this weekend, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to figure out who you are, okay? Because I only have like 612 friends. It ain't going to be that hard. I will find you. They come back on Monday and be like, you're Tiffany Simpson. No. They tried for 3 years, and they never found out who I was till I finally deactivated the page. Kids, 3 years later, why did I stop monitoring Facebook? Because only old people are on Facebook now, okay? That's how quickly this happens. Facebook is now the VHS tape, moms and dads, okay? If your kids are on Facebook, you're doing fine because they're not where everybody else is. Just real quick feedback. Number one right now, by far, and kids, you answer it first and I'll tell you if you're correct. What's the number one social media app? Instagram, by far. Facebook is very smart. They realized they were going the way of the dinosaur, so they bought Instagram. So they currently own it. Instagram's number one by far. Snapchat, Kik, a lot of the other ones are coming up. Twitter for the high school kids. A lot of older kids are onto Twitter a little more. So there's lots of different sites out there. And if I were to monitor my sites every night, I could arrest kids every single day for cyberbullying. I call cyberbullying the speeding for kids. Because as a police officer, if I go sit in my squad car and I stay in one spot for 1 hour and I run radar there, I will find 5 people that speed in an hour. Easy, guaranteed, no problem. I could write 20 tickets in 12 hours and have no problem at all doing it. And now it's on the computer, so I don't actually have to write anything anymore. But I don't do that because my job as a law enforcement officer isn't just to write tickets. My job is to keep people safe. So when I see something, I look at the totality of the circumstances, all right? Where were they speeding? What time of day were they speeding? If you're doing 20 over on I-88 at 2 in the morning, nobody probably cares. Not a lot of cars out there, okay? If you're doing 20 over past the school zone on a Wednesday at 8:30 in the morning, yes, you're going to get stopped, you're going to get a ticket, you may get your license suspended. So 20 over one place and 20 over another place are 2 different things. We're not just stopping people to give them tickets, we're looking at the totality of the circumstances. I do the same thing with kids, okay? Because kids are cyberbullying each other every day. Every single day I find it. Now, first thing you have to have when you have a crime is you have to have starts with the letter V, victim. Okay? So my man that raised his hand right here with the glasses, what's your name, buddy? Your name's not me. Try again. Can anybody confirm that his name is Philip? He's a little hesitant there. Okay, thank you. And what is your name? Anthony. So let's say Anthony and Philip don't get along for whatever reason, and I look on the site and Philip has sent Anthony something very negative. It was intended to offend. It maybe had a bad word in it. And then I come talk to Anthony and I say, hey, I saw what he sent you. Are you okay? And he goes, yeah, it was funny. I don't have a victim, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, something inappropriate was sent, but the kid that received it, no harm was done. He laughed. He knew it was a joke. Okay? Maybe all that means is I have a talk with the other one and say, hey, be a little careful about what you send. Okay? Maybe the person says, you know what? I could care less what he says. Yeah, it was hurtful, but I'm not his friend, and his opinion doesn't mean anything to me. And if you're a kid like that, that's awesome. Again, no victim. Maybe a simple counseling to the kid, maybe a talk to a parent, something like that. Even if we have a dramatic situation where he is upset, we can still mediate that. I can say, look, nobody's gotten in a fight. We know this is inappropriate. You didn't respond negatively. I'm proud of you. Let's go sit in the counselor's office and sort this out. Can you two get along? Yeah, we can get along. Okay, quash it. It's all done. So there's lots of steps we take before we ever get to the level of arrest, okay? I've only arrested a handful of kids in 5 years for cyberbullying, and even when we arrest you, okay, and I hate to let go of our secret here, but ladies and gentlemen that are under 18, who's heard of juvie? Okay, right here, this gentleman right here, what's juvie? Describe it.
It's basically a prison for kids.
A prison for kids. And how many of them are there in Illinois? Where are they? Exactly. We don't have giant prisons for kids all over the state of Illinois. I don't like to burst their bubble because kids are always like, man, I don't want to go to juvie. Okay. But we do have them, but they're for some very serious offenses, okay? When I arrest a kid for cyberbullying, for sexting, for something like that, we're not trying to punish, we're trying to teach. We want to educate them that this was a bad decision, here's how we're going to correct it, and here's how you're not going to do it in the future. The last cyberbullying arrest I did was a 500-word essay for a 6th grader on the dangers of cyberbullying, 20 hours of community service at a local church and at a hospital, a letter of apology to the person they cyberbullied, and a letter of apology to the principal of the school. The parents took their smartphone away for 90 days, and after 3 months, and they cooperated and did all these things and learned their lesson, that was the end, okay? We don't try to lock kids up. We try to educate you. We try to help you. So whenever we do have to get involved legally, those are the types of things we're doing. Now, the schools, unfortunately, didn't get involved for a long time. Then the laws changed. They got mandated to get involved in 2010. They had to have a plan. In 2015, that changed. Governor Quinn just signed in January of this year a bill that says the schools not only have to have a plan, they have to investigate it. So if they find out that student number 1 received a threatening text message, they have to show some type of investigation. If student number 2 is getting cyberbullied and they heard about it through the grapevine, they have to document these things. Now, how they handle it is up to them, but they do have to take some initiative and get involved and document it, whereas just a few years ago, schools would say, that's not our problem. It happened Saturday night. Call the police. Well, you don't have to call the police now. You have to investigate it. You can help notify the police. We can get involved and we can mediate this situation. If it needs us, call us. If it doesn't, schools can handle it themselves now. Socially, this is the part that parents don't get but kids get. Socially, there are consequences to cyberbullying and sexting and all these things too. The social consequences to kids are way worse than the legal stuff, all right? And as they get older, parents, maybe you've heard them say this. I certainly have heard kids say this. Hey, Officer Bean, I got a question. Yeah, what's curfew? Curfew is 11 on weekends for your age. Okay. So what happens if, just let's say, I was out after curfew? You'd get arrested, you'd go to jail, your mom and dad would have to come get you. They have to bail me out? Yeah. Would I go to juvie? And we'll talk about juvie later, but no. They want to know what the consequence is to the negative behavior. They're asking, okay? And then they're weighing it out in their head. Now, this is good that they're using their own brain, and it's bad, okay? Because they're thinking about the consequence. Well, if I do this and this is the punishment, yeah, maybe I'll try it, you know? So these are things that hopefully the parents